10 Best Picks presents the top 10 best TVs for gaming. Starting at number 10. Samsung LC34J791WTNXZA 34-inch. The Samsung C34J791 is a 34 ultra-wide monitor with mediocre picture quality. It has a high contrast ratio due to its VI panel and displays deep, but not too uniform blacks. It is more suitable for an average lit room as it cannot get very bright to fight bright room glare. It has great gray uniformity, which is great for browsing the web, but the bad viewing angles make it unsuitable for working side by side with a colleague. It has great motion handling with a fast 100 Hz refresh rate, supports FreeSync and has a low input lag to please gamers. The design of the Samsung CJ791 is very good. It is identical to the design of the Samsung CF791. It has the same flat round stand that supports the monitor well and prevents serious wobbling. You can adjust the height and tilt, but you cannot swivel or rotate the screen, and this will disappoint those who regularly share their work with a colleague. Due to the curve profile, it looks slightly thick, and finally, the overall build quality is very good, and you should have no issues with it. The Samsung C34J791 has a very good build quality. You will not find any gaps or loose ends, and you should not have any issues with it. The Samsung C34J791 is a decent monitor for mixed usage. It has a large ultra-wide screen with ample resolution that favors multitasking, but unfortunately, it has poor viewing angles. It is very responsive to your actions, but you should avoid placing it in a very bright room as it cannot fight bright room glare. At number 9. Sony X900H 55-inch. The Sony X900H, also known as the X90CH, is a great 4K TV for nearly any type of content. It has a VI panel with an excellent contrast ratio and a full-array local dimming feature that makes blacks look even better in the dark. It's well suited for bright rooms as it has decent reflection handling and gets bright enough to easily overcome glare. It delivers fast-moving scenes with minimal blur thanks to its fast response time and optional black frame insertion feature. Gamers should be happy with its low input lag, which remains low even when playing in 4K with 10-bit HDR. Unfortunately, its viewing angles are quite narrow, so images look washed out when viewed from the side. Also, while it's advertised as having variable refresh rate support to reduce screen tearing, it isn't functional yet. The Sony X900H looks a lot like the Sony X950H and has an outstanding design. The metal feet hold the TV well, but unlike the X950H, you can change their position to accommodate smaller tables. It has thin bezels on 3 sides and a slightly thicker bottom bezel. There are some visible screws in the back where the back panel meets the borders, but the TV still looks very nice overall. The back of this TV looks very similar to the Sony X950H with the same horizontal brushed texture. There are clips included in the box to tie the cables to the feet for cable management. This TV has great build quality. It feels well built and doesn't wobble much as the metal stand supports the TV well. However, the plastic near the inputs flexes a bit. There are some visible screws where the back panel attaches to the borders, and there's a bit more give in this area, but it isn't very noticeable and shouldn't be an issue for most people. Number 8 of my list. Hisense 55H9G 55-inch. Hisense has established itself in the TV world by offering performance and features that outpace its set's price. The company's flagship 4K H9G Quantum set is a statement piece, but it's also a good value and an improvement over what we saw in last year's Hisense H9F review. In addition to boasting the familiar Android TV operating system, the H9G Quantum is equipped with Hisense's new Quantum Dot technology, supports Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, and HDR10, and has built-in voice controls. It's an impressive set of features for a model priced at roughly $700. 2 versions of the H9G Quantum are available, the 55-inch model and the 65-inch 65H9G. We evaluated the former, but the latter should have a nearly identical feature set and comparable performance. The Hisense 55H9G set has a thin silver bezel along 3 sides, top, left, and right, with a whiter, sculpted border on the bottom predictably emblazoned with the Hisense logo. Below that is a trapezoid-shaped control panel that contains a power button on the right and a convenient mic button on the left. There are also two downward-firing 10-watt Dolby Atmos speakers. The back of the Hisense H9G sports a new look, with an eye-catching diamond pattern replacing the H9's simpler 3-line design, 4 VESA wall mounting holes, and a track near the bottom to aid with cable management. Hisense H9G Quantum Android TV review. Ports in the right-hand side of the TV is a connector panel boasting the same collection of ports seen on last year's H9FA solid picture with excellent details. The 4K Hisense H9G delivers top value with plenty of smart TV features and a rapid screen for gamers. Coming at number 7. TCL 55R625. Few TVs have changed the home entertainment space in the same way that the TCL 6 series has. It's made high-end features like Dolby Vision support, full-array panels and wide color gamut available to consumers at a third of the cost of high-end TVs. This dedication to serving you a low-cost alternative to the high-end TVs paid dividends. The original TCL P6 series, the first of its kind, couldn't stay on shelves for more than a few weeks at a time. Despite scoring some huge points in the performance department, the TCL 6 series QLED isn't the most beautifully designed TV we've ever seen. For lack of a better word, we'd describe it as industrial. It's all brushed chrome around the outside bezel with a small logo along the bottom edge of the screen near the IR receiver. That last bit is important, especially if you've ever used an Apple TV or Amazon Fire TV, both of which would much rather have you stream from their ancillary streaming services over any of the third-party ones. Because Roku doesn't have ties to a major streaming service, other than a vague deal to include Fandango No on the home screen of the OS, it doesn't push you any direction you don't want to go, and happily supports everything from Netflix, Hulu, Sling TV and Amazon, to lesser-known channels like Pluto TV, Tubi, Crackle, and others. The TCL 6 series remains one of the best budget TVs you can buy thanks to its beautiful 4K HDR performance and inclusion of high-end AV formats like Dolby Vision, but its position in the top spot is now being challenged by Vizio and Hisense. At number 6. LG OLED 65CX PUA 65-inch. The LG CX OLED TV might not look like a huge step forward in comparison to last year's popular LG C9. However, behind the scenes LG has done a great job at focusing on the niggles that we had in the previous model. What that means is that this new OLED TV is nearly perfect in every way. The result is an extremely engaging cinematic performance that gives movies and TV shows the loving treatment they truly deserve. This TV isn't just built for movies and your favorite TV shows. We've entered an era of next-gen gaming machines now the PS5 and Xbox Series X have launched. There's no doubt that the CX is a surefire gaming TV with sub-1 millisecond input lag, VRR, 4K 120fps support, and incredible OLED-assisted contrast alongside. If you have the budget for it, this is the 4K OLED TV to buy. The OLED 65CX is gorgeous. The star of the show, as usual with OLED TV technology, is how incredibly thin its screen is. For around 2/3 of its rear area it's insanely skinny, just a couple of millimeters deep. Though of course, unless you're fond of looking at the back of your TV rather than the front, you probably won't notice this much once you've installed the set for the first time. The screen attaches to one of the centrally mounted metallic sheet stands we've seen for a few C-series generations now. This is nicely finished and well built, but perhaps looks a touch chunky compared with the incredible slimness elsewhere. LG OLED TVs have always been good, great, even. With the new LG CX OLED, though, LG has truly outdone itself, as a host of small but important improvements add up to a TV experience movie fans will struggle to tear their eyes from. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Halfway of my listed number 5. Samsung QN55 Q80 TAFXZA 55-inch. The Samsung Q80R is an excellent 4K LED TV with impressive picture quality. It delivers deep blacks thanks to the high native contrast ratio, excellent black uniformity, and very good local dimming support. It's a very bright TV with a wide color gamut that delivers HDR content with rich colors and highlights that pop. It has decent viewing angles despite being a VI panel TV, thanks to the ultra viewing angle technology. The TV has remarkable motion handling and produces crisp motion with minimal blur. It has a very low input lag and supports FreeSync for more consistent motion during gaming. The Samsung Q80R is a high-end TV, a replacement to the popular 2018 model, the Q8FN. It sits between the Samsung Q90R and the Samsung Q70R in Samsung's 2019 lineup. The Q80R's chief competitors in 2019 are the Sony Z9F, the LG SM9500, and the Vizio P-Series Quantum 2019. The stand supports the TV well but won't prevent wobbling if you nudge the TV. It takes up a lot of space, but it's not as wide as the TV. The back of the Q80R is nearly identical to the Q70R and the Q8FN. Cable management is serviced either through the hollow legs or through the ridges at the bottom of the TV when wall mounted. The Samsung Q80R is an excellent TV for mixed usage. It performs just as well in a dark room, for movies and HDR content, and in a bright room for sports or TV shows. It has a fast response time, a low input lag, and supports some advanced gaming features that will please gamers, no matter if you're gaming on a console or a PC. Coming in at number 4 of my list. LG OLED 77G XPUA. The LG CX is one of 2 entry-level OLED TVs in LG's 2020 lineup, and like any OLED, it delivers excellent picture quality. It's packed with gaming features such as FreeSync variable refresh rate support and G-Sync compatibility to reduce screen tearing. It has a near-instant response time and low input lag as well. It individually turns off pixels, which results in an infinite contrast ratio and perfect black uniformity, making it a perfect choice for watching movies in dark rooms. It also has wide viewing angles for when you want to watch TV with a large group of people. It displays a wide color gamut for HDR content, but it only has decent peak brightness in HDR, so some highlights may not be as vivid as the creator intended. Like any OLED, it has the risk of permanent burn-in, but we don't expect this to be a problem for those who watch varied content. The back is identical to the LG C9 OLED and LG C8 OLED. The top part that holds the panel is solid metal, and the bottom part that holds the inputs is textured plastic with horizontal lines on it. There are both side-facing and back-facing inputs, and there's a plastic cover on the stand for cable management. If you plan on wall mounting it and want a similar TV with a dedicated wall mount, check out the LG GX OLED. The LG CX OLED is an excellent TV for most uses. Like any OLED TV, it can produce perfect blacks and has a near-instant response time. It also has FreeSync support and G-Sync compatibility to reduce screen tearing when gaming. Unfortunately, it has a risk of permanent burn-in, but this shouldn't be an issue with varied content. It's great for watching shows during the day as it has outstanding reflection handling and wide viewing angles. At number 3. Sony X800H 49-inch. The Sony X800H, also known as the X80H or XH80, is a decent TV and a nice upgrade over its predecessor, the Sony X800G. It has an IPS panel with wide viewing angles, making it a great choice for large seating areas. Visibility is good in well-lit environments as it gets bright enough to overcome glare. However, its mediocre contrast ratio makes blacks look grayish, which isn't ideal for darkroom viewing. Gamers should be happy with its fast response time and low input lag, but the refresh rate is limited to 60 Hz, and it doesn't support any variable refresh rate technology. Its Android TV interface runs pretty smoothly, and there's a large library of apps available through the Google Play Store. Also, it has a microphone built into the remote, allowing for voice control through Google Assistant. Simple design in the back, which is made entirely out of plastic. There's minimal cable management with 2 hooks that are meant to attach the cables to the feet. This might be disappointing for some people. The build quality is decent. The entire TV is made out of plastic. There's a lot of flex around the bezels and on the back near the inputs. There's also a fair amount of wobble. The Sony X800H is a decent overall TV. It can get bright in SDR and displays 480p, 720p, 1080p, and 4K content well with no upscaling artifacts. The viewing angles are great if you plan on putting this TV in a wide room, but unfortunately, the contrast ratio is mediocre, so blacks look gray in a dark room. With an incredibly low input lag and good response time, this TV performs best for sports or video games. HDR content doesn't look great as it doesn't get bright enough to make highlights stand out. With no risk of permanent burn-in, this TV also serves well as a computer monitor. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Coming at number 2, Samsung UN43 TU8000FXZA. The Samsung TU8000 is an entry-level budget TV from Samsung's 2020 lineup, also sold as the TU8200 at Walmart. Despite lacking a local dimming feature, it displays deep blacks thanks to its outstanding contrast ratio and remarkable black uniformity, making it best suited to watching dark content in a dark room. While it supports HDR10+, it doesn't deliver a satisfying HDR experience because its color gamut is somewhat limited and it doesn't get bright enough to bring out highlights in HDR content. Unfortunately, it also has narrow viewing angles, so the image looks washed out when viewed from the sides, but this is expected from a VI panel. On the upside, it has a decent response time that results in clear motion and a remarkably low input lag for a responsive gaming experience, but there's no variable refresh rate support. The Samsung TU8000 has a similar stand to the Samsung RU7100. The feet are inserted into the TV but aren't reversible. The stand supports the TV well, but there's still some wobble. The Samsung TU8000 feels decently built. It's made entirely out of plastic, but it feels fairly sturdy, despite some slight wobble. There are no obvious gaps between the panel and the edges of the TV. The Samsung TU8000 is a decent TV for a variety of uses. Its high contrast ratio produces deep blacks, so it performs well in dark rooms. However, it doesn't get very bright, so highlights fail to pop in HDR, and it may struggle with glare in bright rooms. On the upside, gamers should appreciate the low input lag and decently fast response time. And number 1. Samsung Q70T. The Samsung Q70 QLED is a good all-around 4K TV from Samsung's 2020 QLED lineup. It delivers good performance for most uses and comes with some extra features like variable refresh rate support to reduce screen tearing in games. The TV has a high 120Hz refresh rate and an OK response time. There's a black frame insertion feature to help reduce motion blur. It also has an incredibly low input lag, making for a responsive gaming experience. The TV uses a VI panel with a fantastic contrast ratio and remarkable black uniformity, producing deep inky blacks, even though it lacks a local dimming feature. Unfortunately, it has poor viewing angles, so the image looks washed out from the side, but this is typical of TVs with VI panels. While it gets bright enough to combat glare and has decent reflection handling for well-lit rooms, it can't get bright enough to deliver a truly satisfying HDR experience. The stand is simple and supports the TV well, but there's still a bit of wobble when nudged. The feet are wide set and point outwards, so it requires a fairly large table to put it on if you don't plan on wall mounting it. They no longer need to be screwed in, as you only need to slide them into place, making the setup process much easier. Unfortunately, they're not reversible. The back of the TV is fully plastic and has a horizontal dotted pattern etched into it. All the inputs are side-facing, making them easy to access, even when the TV is wall-mounted. There are clips to attach the cables to the back of the stand for cable management. The Samsung Q70T is a good TV for a variety of uses. Its high contrast ratio and remarkable black uniformity deliver good darkroom performance, whether using it to watch movies or play video games. It's not ideal for watch TV or sports with large groups because it has poor viewing angles, but it gets bright enough to overcome glare in well-lit rooms. Sadly, its HDR experience is a little underwhelming because it can't get bright enough to make highlights pop. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, share this video and hit the like button.